Welcome to another edition of Exotic Gardening UK Yorkshire Kris Weekly, and finally the sun's out, although it's still very windy, as it has been for what seems like forever now. And the weather has caused some damage in the garden. If we just look down on the ground here, you can see remnants of a pane of glass that's shattered all over the wood chip, so I'll have to clear that up. And that happened at night, so it's meant that my greenhouse, I had to quickly come out and sort it out. If you look at the greenhouse, all this door here flew across the garden. All three panes flew out, and luckily it was only the middle small pane, this one here, that fell out. And what I've done is quickly bodged. I've just got some bubble wrap, crocodile clips, and covered the hole, and then just lent these tyres and compost against the door so it can't fall off. And this sort of really is evidence of why I need to change this greenhouse, and it's pretty much because it's too small and it's in a place where the winds are really getting to it. I need a much stronger door. So this episode is all going to be about greenhouses and where I'm going to locate my new greenhouse. So the history of this garden is basically when we first moved in 7 years ago, right at the far end of the garden, which you can't see, was a row of trees, and behind that there were two greenhouses that were beyond repair really, so they got removed. And then I had this greenhouse here installed with polycarbonate sheets. When we had high winds, most of the polycarbonate sheets came out because it's very exposed at this point in the garden, and I was battling for a couple of winters with the polycarbonate sheets, and then I thought enough was enough, and I got a different greenhouse that could hold safety glass sheets like these, and these have been fine. But as well as being a greenhouse in this position that's a bit small, it's also not tall enough. If I just stand next to the greenhouse, you can see I'm a pretty tall chap, and I'm taller than the greenhouse, so when I do go in there I'm always ducking over, and it's just not a nice place to be. So I've thought about where I'm going to put a new greenhouse, and even before I bought this house 7 years ago, I was thinking perhaps I could convert this garage into some sort of greenhouse. I didn't know exactly how I could do it, but I've been thinking about it, and I think I've come up with the answer. What I'm going to do is, if we look back, I'm going to take off all the roof tiles, strip it all back down to wood, and install a polycarbonate roof, like a conservatory roof on top of there. I've got one window over here that's letting in a lot of light, albeit sort of facing northeast, so it's not the direct sun. And at the back here, we've also got a nice double glazed window which is facing west, so that's get a decent amount of light in. And I think with changing the roof and getting maximum light from that way, and also if we come round to the front, by taking off the garage door and putting in some windows here, we'll get maximum light coming from the south as well. So this space should become a lot lighter and allow me to grow plants. And it is a large space to grow plants. It is 3 meters by 6 meters, so it's about 10 foot by 20 foot. So it's a big space. And now I'm going to go into the garage and show you some things I need to do to make this a good place for plants to grow. So this is in the garage now, and you can see the light is decent with just the windows and the door being opened, and that's why I've got some plants in here overwintering, my arid plants over there. And you can see I've got lights on as well. I've got two strip lights. One is actually usable, the other one is hidden above the garage door for some reason. I've got electrics in here as well. So what I'll be able to do is heat the greenhouse, or this space, once I've converted it. Now I have got some issues with this garage, that it's not been constructed very well. If we just look over here, you can see how bad the bricks look in terms of all the mortar hanging out and lumping everything. And it's not a regular mortar, it's a lime mortar, and most of it has basically collapsed. So if you run your fingers over that dust just falls off, and if you rub it for a few seconds you get big holes. So what I've done is try to help combat that, is seal it by basically painting it. So on this wall nearest to me, you can see I've painted it white, and this has stopped all the dust. If I run my finger there, I don't get loads of dust falling down. If we look on the ground, you can see piles of mortar dust that just come out. And if we also look at pretty much all the vertical joints, you can see they've all come out, all the mortar just disappeared. So what I'm going to do, now I've stabilised it by painting it, I'm going to get some mortar and fill in all these cracks and then paint it again. I'm going to paint it white everywhere once I've repointed it everywhere, and that will make it a lot more reflective, a lot brighter and lighter in here. And then when I take the roof off, I'm going to take off all the roofing felt as well, and then this leaves me with a wooden structure of these rafters that are, I think they're 45 centimeters apart. I'm going to measure them really carefully and get polycarbonate sheets and put them on and make basically a conservative style roof. And the polycarbonate I'm going to use is 16mm thick polycarbonate. My old greenhouse, which was using polycarbonate sheets, that had 4mm, which is really flimsy. In fact, I think I've got a piece of it up here. So this is 4mm polycarbonate sheets. It's very, very strong, great light transmission, but it's not strong enough to secure this building. You could use 10mm and that would be good because it lets a lot of light in, but I'm going for 16mm so it doesn't fall off in a storm. Basically it's going to be nice and strong. You could go up to 25 or even 35mm like they use on high-end conservatory roofs, but the trouble with that is it'll be blocking out a lot of light. So I think the light transmission from glass is obviously up in the 90s, 95%. Polycarbonate sheets, when they're 4mm, I think it's about 85, and 16mm drops to about 74% light transmission. So I am losing quite a bit of light, but it's going to be very strong and stable up there, which is what I need. So that is a plan. I will make a little project and do some videos of the whole converting this garage into a grow space. Don't really know if I should call it a greenhouse or not, because strictly speaking it's not. Oh, I should say I've had the okay that is permitted development. I can do this on this site, so that's fine. So that is a video for this week, just showing you what I'm going to be doing. So basically today I need to clear most of this stuff out so I can paint all the walls and do pointing and mortaring, which will take quite a long time, and then it'll be off with the roof. So join me next time where I'll be doing more in the garden or probably in the garage. Thanks for watching.